Today's that day. I went to the pet hospital and I got Kilua's remains, and I have them here with me. Right now, I didn't have the bravery, the boldness to take them out of the little blue bag that they brought it in yet. They handed it over to me and I got home and I didn't want to go through it, so I set it right next to me on the floor, and I got home and I didn't have the heart to go through it, so I took a little nap, and then I started working on my computer, and I set it right next to me on the floor, and I told myself, no, you have to do this. You've got to do this. It's time to do it. So I figured, you know what? This would be a good time to do this as a sort of elegy for my little kitten, my little first baby. So I've got the bag here, and I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna go through and see what they did. Yeah. So I'm gonna remove the wrapping paper. Tissue paper. Not really wrapping anything, it's just some tissue paper off the top. Okay, we got a little blue box with a silver tie around it. Its knot is a cute little bow. Stretchy little thing. Oh, there's something. What is this exactly? Thank you for trusting us during your time of loss. As a part of your remembrance package, you may have chosen a clay paw or nose print of your beloved pet, or an engraved plate for your urn. Please take note of the following details. Clay prints for indoor display only, do not display outdoors. Your clay print may not be completely dry upon receipt. Oh, is that what they... Oh, they didn't do that for Gone. They just did the little sticker where they do the ink. Not like a sticker, but like a little card. Oh. If it feels slightly damp or pliable, simply remove it from the box and allow it to air dry at room temperature for a day. It's also a good idea to turn it over for the back to air dry as well. You may store it in a fridge or a cooler, but avoid placing it in an oven. Well, let's see. Oh. It's little Kilua's paw print. Oh, it's so small. No. I would put my finger right in the big paw, right in the big pad, right in the middle, and his little fingers, his little claws would close around my finger and hold on to it. Oh, his little paw print. Let me cover that up for right now. Keep that safe. Keep that safe. There we go. Okay. The next... What else? What else is here? Oh, there we go. It's little shavings of his fur. Okay. They went a lot more with Kilua's. Maybe it was because, the whole 2 in a row thing. But they have the ink print right on the top of the box with his fur clippings on it. Okay, let me keep this safe. Oh, he was a sweet little thing. Even the doctors thought so. Even other cats thought so. The other 3, Erdwin, Erdrick, and Numa, they would all sleep on top of Kilua. Even other cats thought Kilua was fluffy and soft. And now that he's gone, they've been using me a lot more to sleep on and lay on. I'll get to that last. That's the little box. Okay, let's see. There's a letter here. There's a letter here. Let's see. Our deepest sympathy on the loss of your pet. Oh, it's got the different names of the people who work there. No, sorry for the loss. So sorry. Just this side of heaven is a place called Rainbow Bridge. So sorry for the loss of Killua. Your pet hospital family. Let's see. There's another envelope in here. What's this? It's a bigger envelope. It's got a silver sticker on it with a heart paw print. Oh, a blue thing. This is probably that thing where it's like a pamphlet, you know, dealing with the loss of your pet. You'll feel grief and so on. Yeah. Understanding loss and what happens next. A guide to grief and grieving by pet parents for pet parents. And here's the little metal plate with his name. It says Killua on there. They always thought he was a girl. Even until the very last day, they were still saying she. Killua was a boy! Killua is a boy. Certificate of cremation and loving memory of Killua. Cremated with care this 19th day of March 2026. May you cherish the memories and may their love live forever in your heart. I appreciate it. Alright, let me put this back in the envelope. Okay. Now for the velvet bag. The blue velvet bag. With the blue velvet bag with the oh. Okay. Oh. It's very pretty. I'm very glad I got both of the boxes are heat sealed. There's no like lid, you can't pop it open. Oh, I can hear his ashes in there though. Yeah, these are more. Yeah, with Gon's box, it's in a bag, which is then inside of the heat sealed box. But with this one, it feels a lot more. It feels like it's more just inside the box. But I'm glad it's heat sealed. I don't know if I could handle there being a lid that I could, under any circumstances, you know, pop open and see those ashes on the inside. I think that would be too much for me. But it's a very pretty box. Nice woodcraft. It's got some bevel on the side. It's got a little base. It's got some nice foam coasters stuck to the bottom. It's a nice cube shape. Nice reddish wood color. Very simple. It's very simple, very smooth, very well done. You know, lots of space for me to put something on it or do something with it. Looks different from Gon's as well. I'll be able to differentiate them at a glance. The two boxes. I could always tell Gon and Killua apart. The other person constantly couldn't and would forget which one they were looking at. But, yeah. I could tell from their faces, but they had very different faces, but Killua also had a distinct little notch at the end of his tail. It wasn't like painful or anything like that. It was from his youth. He had it even before he became my baby, my first pet. He had a little crook at the end of, like, the very tip of his tail, kind of bent upwards a little bit. I'm glad it didn't cause him any pain or anything. It was just that something happened in the bone, the very last segment of his tail just kind of curved upwards. Yeah. I remember when he was little, he used to grow curly whiskers. So it would grow, and then it would have like a little, it would like twist, and then as he got older, those like, shed, and the whiskers that grew in afterwards didn't have as many twisties and things like that. Yeah. No, this is a good box. This is a very good box. I'm holding it right here. I see, it's partly sealed down with screws. At least the base is attached with screws. It's got a good smell to it. Smells like wood. Smells like wood. Okay, baby. I got you now. What's physically left of you is back here with me. Finally. You're right here. Well, you're in heaven, but what's left of your body is right here. I think with Gons they put a couple of his whiskers, but I don't think they did that with Killua. But with Killua they did a couple extra things unique for him. Maybe it changes depending on what box you pick. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna set the box right here, right next to me. All right. Let me go ahead and put this stuff back in the bag. There we go. Keep this nice and tidy. And keep the box out. That stays out. Well, that's the end of that chapter. If life was divided into arcs, that's the end of that arc officially. The others, they don't have pet hospital accounts or anything, but they're also very naturally healthy all on their own. They've never needed it particularly. They have very good teeth, very good nails, very good health, very vital, lots of vitality in those three. In Erdrick, Erdwin, and Numa, incredibly vital. Like Numa is the same age as Gon and Killua, and she's still moving around like she's a little kitten. Yeah, but it'll probably be a long while before I see a pet hospital again. It mainly really was just for Gon and Killua, and now that's over. Things are gonna be different now, things are gonna change. Things are in subtle ways, maybe not in overarching large ways, but in subtle ways things are going to be a bit different now. Yeah. But this whole week I've been talking about it in each journal that I've done. Things have just kind of felt different in general. Things feel like they're shifting. Maybe not externally in the physical, but internally things are shifting and changing around, and feelings are different now. Yeah. I hope you don't mind if I transition from that into a regular journal for right now. I'll pretend like Killua was on my lap again, or sitting right next to me as I record this. But yeah, it was an interesting day at work today. It was a very interesting day at work today. I got a lot of identifiers today at work. I got a lot of different names, different ways people pointed me out, and I thought it was really interesting. So I wrote down a couple of them. So well, it was three. I would say it was three. So the first one, well, actually four. Four. And you know what? I'll have a little non-discretion, indiscretion, and just say this, I'll say it once. One of them is that sometimes I'm called the host. Other people call me the waiter. Today, when one of my coworkers was helping me get, lunch, it accidentally came with an extra side, which I got to take home with me, thankfully. And she said of me that, like, oh yeah, he'll probably take it. He eats a lot. And that was funny. It was funny to hear me described as, like, he eats a lot. That being a descriptor of me and things like that. An identifier for me. He eats a lot. That's him. He eats a lot. And then the other one was a lady came in later who I had seen previously, and she described me as, you're that guy who cleans the windows. This isn't even referring to the big window that I managed to defeat. This is just referring to the normal course of me cleaning the windows. She referred to me as, you're the guy who cleans the windows. You're the window cleaner. And it was funny to me to kind of... I feel like there was another one, but I'm not recalling it right. Yeah, sometimes... That was another one. Call me Little Buddy. Sometimes some of my coworkers will call me Little Buddy. Sometimes they'll call me Partner. Like, I get all kinds of different descriptors and monikers and different names that they refer to me by. But it was the ones that made me laugh the most, the ones that interested me the most, where you're the guy who cleans the windows, and you're the guy who cleans the windows, and he eats a lot. As descriptors of my being, or my habits, or what have you. It's funny to see all the different ways that people, might see me or things like that. But later on, not then, but later on, I got to tell the person about how, like, yeah, during the... It's not necessarily that I eat a lot. Well, the way I described it is like, oh yeah, well, during the... because later, how would I describe it? Later... Well, she thinks that I eat a lot. She was the one who gave me the cupcakes and the pound cake. And so she offered me a new thing that another coworker left behind. Because, like, oh yeah, he likes to eat. He eats a lot, so maybe I'll give it to him. And then I said, oh yeah, it's always nice to take something home. And then she asked me, oh, do you live by yourself? And I said, oh yeah, I live alone. And of course, referring to, like, humans, not necessarily cats, but in terms of humans, yeah, I live alone. I live by myself. And I explain, like, during work days, I eat one meal, and that one of the reasons why when I order lunch there, I go for something hearty, something filling, as much as I can, get within the rules, is because during, budgeting essentially, which is that during work days, I eat one meal only, and I make sure that it's a nice, hearty meal that'll last me the whole day. And it was very nice of her. She became very nurturing all of a sudden. I just said it very casually, but I'm also an ignorant little guy who doesn't know what other people see as, standards, or, what good living versus not good living is, things like that. So she immediately after I said that, she was like, "Let me get you a good to go," and then she got me like oh, there's a stink bug in that lamp. She went and got me a to go, a little like bowl of to go bowl of fruit, and I have that now. And I was like, oh, it's I treated it very normally, very casually, but it's, again, I never know these things because I have no one to measure up things to. So I suppose that from her reaction that, it might be common that hearing that, my budgeting thing and living alone and what have you, or like eating that one meal. I think that's the main thing, is eating that one meal only. She saw that as is like unfortunate, shouldn't be. It's not a good play. She clearly had like a reaction to it, like, oh, that shouldn't be, or that's something that needs to be fixed. She became very nurturing after that. I appreciated it. I did appreciate it. And then later, when I was getting ready to, well, it was when I clocked out, but I was there waiting for my ride with the other person to come. And she walked up to me and she said, like, if I gave you $10, would you want to buy yourself something to eat? And I very kindly just said, like, oh no, I'm full for the day. Like, I'm very full. That meal I had earlier was very good. Like, and what you've already given me is like, it's, I really appreciate it. This is great. This is more than enough. And that meal from earlier really filled me up. And this'll be great for later. And then she was like, okay. And then she went home after that. Man, this stink bug was really bothering me. It's there. Okay. If you hear me get up to grab the vacuum, that'll be what it is. Anyway, yeah. So it was it was something I wasn't necessarily expecting, the amount of worry, or or you know empathy or anything like that, because to me it's very like, yeah, that's just what I got to do, that's just normal. But I really didn't consider necessarily how, I've never had anyone to measure it up against, so I'm just used to that kind of thing. But I didn't realize that to someone else it would be something to worry about, or like, oh, you're not eating enough, you're starving, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that was, and then, politely just, no, I'm okay, I'm all full. What I had earlier was really good. I make sure with these meals that I'm nice and full. Yeah, yeah. On the on the occasions where I do cook, when I get back home, it is because usually I tried to experiment with something on the menu that didn't turn out to be very filling. There are things. The stink bug. There are things on the menu that, I don't always want to necessarily eat the same thing every day, so I'll move around and see, like, is this more filling, is this a better meal, what's going on with this, what about that, and I'll move across. But sometimes, you hit that thing that's just like, well, darn, that wasn't filling at all. Or that was only half filling, but man, I'm really, really hungry. And so I'll get back home and I'll be like, well, guess I'm going to have to cook myself something, to offset the difference, or what have you. Because how with my food works is I get a box with food, and I have to make that box last 21 days, I think it is. I have to make that one box last 21 days. And so the free meals that I get oh, the stink bug's coming over. Okay, hold on a sec. It didn't work. I was too soon. I'm gonna have to wait. Okay. Well, that probably won't be the only time you hear the vacuum turn on. But, so those free meals, three free meals every week. 3 1 meal a day meals every week goes a long way in, offsetting the difference of those 21 days of where, I'm not getting any new food. Because without those, there's a very high chance that I run out of food ahead of time, and then extra money ends up being spent, and so on and so forth. So the current budget is that I get that stockpile of freezable food. It rations out for those days, and then those 3 days where I work help to sort of make a nice gap where, I'm not using it up. Except for those times where, I try something and it's like, okay, that was more of a snack type food on the menu, but it wasn't really like a proper filling meal type of thing. So, yeah, so that was part of today. And there was a coworker of mine who she's very like low energy and calm. She's that's like a good way to describe her. She's very low energy and calm. She's got, the same kind of like attitude and like personality as the others, that sort of like, yeah, a bit of attitude, a bit of an edge, but compared to the others there, she's very calm. She's very low energy, speaks in very even tones, just very calmly. Just kind of carries herself like she's very, low energy, just like I like it. I like it a lot. It's lots of different personalities, but I really like that, and I would say that about each of them if I pointed out their personalities. They've all got different things going on, but hers is that she's very low energy, very calm, very like that, and she has been very, very nice to me. And I wasn't expecting that. And, today I was like, I really appreciate you, doing that for me. And then she's like, oh yeah. And, it is, you do a really good job, and you're very helpful. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then, you do a lot of work, and it made me glad to hear that, Sometimes I feel lazy, or, like I'm on an off day, but I'm glad to hear. And so, I asked a question. It was one of those like slightly probing questions to gauge her response, just to see for myself. But I said, like, and I hope weekends have been a lot easier for you. And she said, oh yeah, ever since, it has been. Weekends have been a lot easier. And, that made me very happy. That made me very happy to hear that. That was one of my biggest hopes when I first started, was with I hope that when I come here that I end up making their jobs a lot easier. The thing is, the weekends are the busiest days of the week, so I kind of had the hope that, like, when I'm here, maybe the weekends can feel more like the weekdays. I don't know if that's true or if I've accomplished that, if I've managed that, but at the very least, I do know now that, much to my pleasancy, I have made the weekends easier than they were before, which I'm very glad about, and I'm glad that I'm being helpful. I'm glad that it's helpful, and that, I'm 3 months in. And I'm glad this is working out in that way. I'm really glad. And it was a nice conversation, too. Yeah. Is it a little self-centered of me to say that it makes me happy when someone says thank you for all the work that you do? To me, it does make me very happy. Yeah. And another thing at work is that there's someone who works there. He's very quiet. I think he might be deaf, but he does a lot of physical comedy, especially with me. So I'll go around, gather things, take them to the back area, and then I would spend that time. And, with gesture, he told me, like, you don't come back here anymore. You just bring it in, and we take care of it. He didn't say that with words, just with his body language, but I got it. And he... so I there were a few times where I got into my habit kicked in, and then I stayed back there a little too long, and then he would do something. He would, like, mime a gesture, like he's boxing the dishes that I was bringing in, like he was gonna punch them and knock them over, or he would spray a little water in his hand and, like, flick it at me. And when I left today, he saluted me, which was very nice. Oh, the stink bug. Hold on. It made a mistake. And now it's going to pay. Hold on. I'll be back. Just a sec. It's circling around. It's doing a little roundabout. I think it notices my presence and it's veering away from the edges. So I'm going to stand back and watch it. Give me just a sec. Excuse me, little toy. Hold on. It's making its move. Okay. Gonna have to keep waiting. It hasn't completed its folly yet. Its bad move. It still needs to finish it. So, anyway. Yeah, he does a lot of, like, physical stuff, makes physical comedy, physical jokes. He'll do lots of things where he'll pretend he's doing a movement, or, like, when I'm crossing his path, he'll do, like, a pretend football player, like, interception kind of thing. And then or other times he'll, like, get my attention and, like, point at something and be like, look at this, and I'm just like, huh? And then I get what he's trying to say. Well, or not what he's trying to say, but I get what he's communicating. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that is weird. And then we'll both look at it and just shrug. It kind of has, like, a comedy duo thing going on there, which makes me laugh. I like it. he does a lot of things like that. He has a good sense of humor. And I'm trying to think of some of the other things. Oh yeah, he'll when I end up bringing in a lot of dishes, or when I'm cleaning the certain seats, he'll mime having like a fire hose and hosing everything down. Yeah, he's he's like, this would take 5 minutes if we just had like a hose that we could just, and he'll do the sound. He'll go like, and I like it. I like it. He's very good. He's very good at that physical comedy. It does brighten up my day when he does that. And yeah, that makes a sour day good, or whatever's going on. And we have lots of like little gestures, finger points, thumbs up, different things to sort of signal to each other very quickly, move around, communicate. We'll even tag team cleaning up a spot sometimes. Yeah. And and yeah. So that was work. It was pleasant. Very pleasant today. Three months now, and I feel like I'm, getting more into growing into the role. I barely started, but I feel like that was the vacuum. Don't mind. I forgot I put it directly behind me. It didn't fall very far. It just sounded loud. But yeah. But the other person today started going on like a whole thing. Told me to just quit my job. Yeah. The other person, I got in the car, and the other person just started telling me, "Your job is stagnant. It's not going anywhere. You should quit. You should quit right now. You should put in your 2 weeks notice and quit and go look for another job. You should," and started saying things like, "That's what I did when I was younger. You should start job hopping like I did. Just go where the money is." And just told me like, "Yeah, just stick this on your resume, put in your 2 weeks, and then start applying for other places. Just start putting in your applications for all these other places, and quit this one." And then like shifted into like, "Oh, you know what? There's a temp agency over there. You should just quit and start and go sign up for that temp agency, and just take whatever jobs they give you." And I was thinking to myself like, "What? What are you talking about?" Yeah. The other person started talking like that, just like, "Yeah, quit your job. It's stagnant. It's not going anywhere." And I was just thinking to myself like, it's been 3 months. It's only been 3 months since I started working there. It's a stable job. I get paid a stable rate. It's a stable job with good hours. And like, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, gives structure, builds experience. It is a stepping stone. But yeah, and then I looked it up. I looked up like, is that even good advice? Yeah, people who job hop or rely on temp agencies often do so because they needed fast cash, struggled with stability, never built long-term work habits, or project their path onto others. And I was just thinking about that, like, do you even know the situation I'm in? And then started talking about like, yeah, just get the job program that drives you, they'll take care of all of it. And I was just thinking to myself, like, well, part of this is probably she just wants me to get a job where will never have to drive me, that kind of thing, or looking for something like that, or basically that kind of thing. It just, there's probably all manner of reasons why. The other person wants me to like quit. Yeah. So like I looked up. Yeah. So I got some good advice. Yeah, some parts of what they said could be reasonable in a vacuum, but the way they said it and who it came from makes it shaky advice for you specifically. So let's unpack it. The idea of exploring better jobs isn't bad. Plenty of people eventually move on from entry-level service jobs to something with higher pay, more hours, either higher pay, more hours, more stability, a clearer path forward, or a mix of these. And then I was thinking to myself, like, yes, in general, looking for better opportunities can be a good long-term move. But saying your job has stagnated, you should quit immediately, you should job hop and move around like they did, or sign up for a temp agency, is not thoughtful guidance. It's impulsive, destabilizing, and ignores the actual needs. Good advice considers financial stability, emotional stability, goals, timeline, and support system. Yeah. Temp work is unpredictable, inconsistent, stressful, low control, lacking benefits, feast or famine in hours. For someone who's building a foundation after abandonment and living alone, that instability can be rough. Yeah, working part-time, living alone, and managing. Stability matters, predictable schedule matters, safe environment matters. Yeah. Alternative, good advice. If you want more money or growth, let's look at options while keeping your current job until you find something solid that's responsible and supportive. That's how someone who cares talks. Yeah. And as the other person was talking about it, they were like, they might even have those jobs that you went to college to learn about, and even as the other person was trying to sell me on this thing, all they were saying was just constant, like, there could be good work, you might get paid well, there, all these. Yeah. uh, Temp agencies don't usually specialize in remote, stable, or well-paid roles. They focus on warehouse work, admin assistance, seasonal labor, short-term office support, unpredictable assignments. Remote, stable, well-paid jobs are not their bread and butter. They can exist, but they're rare, competitive, and not the norm. And it's not someone thinking about your future. Yeah, that's just true. Yes, you're looking for stability and growth. You want consistent hours, good pay, possibly remote work, a job you can build on. Temp work is inconsistent, unpredictable, often low paying, not remote, not a long-term path, not aligned with what you're aiming for. Your intuition is protecting you here. That's good. Yeah, that's a chaotic path, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a lot of instability. So I'm just looking at that's a lot of instability. Yeah, the concept of eventually finding a better job is fine. The method that person is pushing is not good for the situation. Current job gives predictable hours, predictable pay, a consistent workplace, free meals, which reduces the cost of living, a known schedule, coworkers getting used to, a routine that supports your mental and emotional stability. With temp agencies, unpredictable hours, inconsistent pay, constantly changing environments, no guarantee of work, no benefits, no stability. Yes, it is odd to suggest you throw away stability for chaos, especially when you're only 3 months into the job. Your job covers 80 to 90% of the rent. Oh, the stink bug. Hold on, it made the mistake. Stink bug captured. All right. Yeah. Let's see, your job covers 80 to 90% of rent. That's not failure, it's progress. You're close, really close. That means you don't need to blow up your life. That means you don't need to blow up your life. You just either need a small raise, a few more hours, a second small income stream, or a better job when you find one. When you find one, not before. Or a better job when you find one, not before. It's a very solvable situation. Quitting now would actually put you in a worse financial position, not a better one. That is absolutely true. Yeah. Let's look for something better while you keep your current job so you stay financially safe. Instead, they said quit, job hop, temp agency. Yeah. Dismissal of preferences. Yeah. Impulsive advice. Who has a history of instability themselves. Yeah, it would seem so. That much is true. Yeah. And I wanted to look up, because again, I've got no frame of reference. I wanted to look up, is 3 months in a job a long time? So I looked it up, yeah. 3 months into the job, that's the exact point where you're still learning, you're still settling in, you're still building confidence, you're still stabilizing your life. Quitting at the 3-month mark is like telling someone to abandon a plant just as it's starting to root. It's not wise advice. Yeah, building a life from scratch, almost covering rent on your own. The next step is finding a better job, but strategically, not chaotically. That's the key. That's both what I've been trying to do and what I'm going to keep doing. I still got that remote job on the side, and that has been helping a lot. So I'm going to keep working on that as well. And making my way. I'll go ahead and stop here for today because I do got something extra that I need to do today. Today is the day when I get to co-DM again a bit with D&D, which is exciting. That'll only be a couple of hours and then right back to work. That does bring enrichment and life to me. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And after a nice long day of work, it is a great way to just unwind and get creative. So, yeah, I'm going to start doing that. And I'm going to go place Killua's ashes. Well, I'm going to have them next to me for a little while longer. In his very nice box. In this very nice box. And then I'm going to put him... Well, he's in heaven. But I'm going to put his ashes on the shelf next to his brother's afterwards. It's going to look very nice. Yeah, summer's coming, so there's things I got to start doing now to summer-proof instead of winter-proof. Yeah. But I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. But, any hoosers. See you later.